Has your speedometer quit working in your 85 to 94 Toyota pickup truck? Stay tuned and we'll cover what might be causing that. The speedometer cluster in the 85 to 94 Toyota pickups, and that's, four-wheel drive, that's pretty much all the pickup trucks. They're actually common for the speedometer to quit working. Sometimes the speedometer quits working, but the odometer runs, or the odometer quits running and the speedometer works. This is just due to a combination of electronics inside what they call the head that actually makes the speedometer work. And I took the long route about getting around trying to figure it out, but doing all the diagnostics and testing. So I'll show you here in this video all the testing that I did, and I'll end up telling you the results of what I ended up coming up with. This is an instrument cluster out of a 94 Toyota pickup truck. Just a baseline model, I think extended cab, but there's nothing really special about it. It's not four-wheel drive, it's not even V6, but you're all probably looking at this video because you've been reading or hearing, or you probably have the problem of your speedometer not working. I've been told by a few speedometer repair shops that if the odometer is not working and the speedometer is not working, that it's your car, it's your vehicle. Well, I've tested every wire per the wiring schematic, and I'm getting the voltage and the grounds exactly where they're supposed to be. So I ordered another one, a used one, and it doesn't work either. And the guy swears up and down it worked. So I was inclined to believe it was the vehicle. So I thought I would do some tests. This is the back of the instrument cluster where your wires plug into. And I took the wiring schematic, and I'll actually leave the description, or I'll leave the link to for the actual PDF file that shows you the wiring schematic. I attached to the power and the grounds to everything that makes the speedometer work. And your points are right here. Zoom in on this baby. This one's the ignition, which means it has to have power. This is your ground. This is the signal wire. This is the signal wire right here from the speed sensor. And this is it's marked 4P, but it's also voltage. So using a power supply that I built when I was a kid, we're providing 12.5 volts. Everything's got what it's supposed to. The grounds have got grounds, the power's got power. And the speedometer still doesn't work. What I did is I took the speed sensor out, which I know it's good because I actually bought a new one and tried it. It didn't fix it. Plus, this one's testing perfectly. And I've also hooked it up for the way that it shows in the wiring schematic. And what you do is when this little gear's on it, you turn it and just a little bit, and it drops voltage. Then you turn it and it adds voltage. So it's basically sending a 12-volt signal to this wire. I made myself a little coupling for the shaft on my drill to spin it to simulate the drive shaft turning. I've got me a little mirror right there to watch the speedometer move. It doesn't move. The speedometer cluster is bad. I will follow up with it, and I'm going to send this thing off to have it tested just to prove that I'm right. But if you hear the saying that if the odometer doesn't work and the speedometer doesn't work together, then it's your wiring or your speed sensor or something in your vehicle, don't believe it. Because this one's not working. I've fully tested it. It's not working at all. But that's how you test it. I'll show the wiring schematic. Like this is a ground, and I'll jumper it over with. Took a lot of test leads. Let's see, where's this one? These right here are grounds. And these have sections like this is A, B, C, D. And when you see the wiring schematic, you'll see how they work. But I hooked everything up. Well, the rest of it, all these other ones I'm not connected to, are just lights for indicators like your park, reverse, neutral, engine light. All the other lights and stuff are the ones that just light up the cluster. That's what they're for. These are the ones that are crucial. It has to be hooked up. So I'll provide you the wiring schematic, and like I said, I'll put the results in here of what they said when I send this thing off. So you can see after all the detailed testing that it's not the actual wiring in the truck. It's not the speed sensor. It is the actual speedometer cluster, or what Toyota calls the combination cluster. That's because it's got the fuel gauge and the temp gauge and tells you what gear you're in and stuff like that if it's an automatic. My customer and I, we agreed to go ahead and buy a used speedometer cluster from eBay, and that was about a waste of whatever it was, $90, something like that, because it didn't work either. And so I ended up having to send the speedometer off to a place in Atlanta, and they went through it and stuff and told me the common things that go wrong with it. Usually it's two components and some contacts that corrode inside that speedometer cluster. And there's a thing what they call a head, and that's actually kind of like the motor that moves the needle, because this speedometer doesn't use a cable that runs from it to the transmission. It is all electronic, which has a speed sensor. The speed sensors can go bad in them, but very rarely. And of course, you saw in this test, I bought a new one and it didn't fix it. But I'll put the details down in the description below that tells you where I sent this thing to, gives you the link and stuff to the site. They're great guys. They were probably about the cheapest I found, and they're the quickest and the most direct. They tell them they seem to have the most knowledge. So I'll put that down there for you. And if you have any questions, just always leave a comment, and I usually reply within 24 to about 24 hours. Usually I reply back. But if you like this video, be sure to subscribe and like, and be looking for some more videos, because I'm always working on something. See you in the next one.